Harry Potter is coming to Broadway. We have some NASCAR news for you. Fox execs being backstage at Monday Night Raw. Also, some news about Baby Groot. Wreck-It Ralph 2 tries to break the internet. And just what is the best Dwayne Johnson film of all time? All this and more coming up right now as we take you from pillar to post. And welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to From Pillar to Post. My name is Joe White. Whoops, sorry about that. I hit the wrong scene. Anyway, we got a ton to talk about today, so let's get right into it. According to PW Insider, Sports Illustrated writer Richard Detesh reported today that a number of Fox Sports executives, including Fox Sports president Eric Shanks, Fox Sports producer Jacob Altman, and even Fox broadcast personality Colin Cowheard, who has always knocked professional wrestling fans, but admits he watched Don Owens' Pacific Northwest promotion, were all at last night's SmackDown Live taping in the Staples Center in L.A. Obviously, of course, WWE continues to map out future plans. This article goes on, blah, 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 stuff we've known at all time. One thing of note here, Fox is still attempting to negotiate with the UFC. Should the MMA company move on, Fox will be in a position where it will need a replacement franchise. UFC makes up a good portion of its programming on Fox Sports 1. Obviously, WWE would certainly feel the loss of the flagship MMA franchise. I'm just skimming through this here. It should be noted that UFC owner MIG-WME also represents WWE because it is a let's not forget the people who own UFC, they're talent agents. They're a talent agency. So it's not out of the question that they could offer a package deal for both entities to Fox or another broadcaster. There's a great history of the two genres pairing up well from their time on Spike TV. Fox Sports did air TNA's Impact Wrestling series when it was initially a 1-hour broadcast in the early 2000s, but it was a pay-for-play deal at the time. Yes, it was pay-for-play. I had to pay extra to get it. That was before Fox Sports was really a big thing. You had to pay extra on your cable provider to get it. A couple things here noted about this. Colin Cowheard. Hello, Colin, if you're listening, which I doubt you are. Everybody tag Colin Cowheard in this podcast, because if there was ever another brown-nosed individual than Colin Cowheard, it just point me in their direction. Here's a guy who used to work for ESPN. And while he was at ESPN, he called wrestling fans a bunch of booger eaters. You know, basically going the route that all wrestling fans are, you know, booger eaters. I can't say the word that I want to use, but I could have used it back then when he made these comments, and he's continued to trash the professional wrestling business ever since. I did find it of note that a couple of months ago, Colin Cowherd had Jim Ross on his show once it had moved to Fox Sports 1. A couple months ago, Jim Ross, when he was doing his book tour, went on Colin Cowherd's radio show. Colin Cowherd also does his radio show live in video form on Fox Sports 1 every day. So when he had Jim Ross on, I kind of made a big deal about that, going, hey, you got a wrestling guy on your show? This doesn't seem like the right Colin Cowherd. This doesn't seem like the Colin Cowherd that I know. And then I also made the ties of, well, Jim Ross works and writes for Fox Sports, so that's a no-brainer. The Fox guys just said, hey, let one of our own on your show for about 10 minutes to plug his book, and that'll be the end of it. And I'm sure Colin Cowherd, if he is, in fact, insulted by pro wrestling fans and thinks they're nothing more than booger eaters, probably rolled his eyes, said, sure, come on, give me a list of questions to ask this guy, and I'll do it. Then he shows up at SmackDown last night, posts a photo to his Twitter saying, this is my first SmackDown event. This is my first SmackDown event. And it may have been his first WWE event for all we know. And he's posing with Natalia and Charlotte Flair. And he's got like a half smile on his face. And that immediately led to everybody in wrestling Twitter lashing out at the guy, lashing out at him, talking about, how, hey, you called us booger eaters. What changed your tune now? I'll tell you guys what changed his tune. Money, 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 money. Money, 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 money. And it's a deal of, well, for Colin Cowherd may be forced to talk about pro wrestling. Imagine that. Can you just imagine Fox treating pro wrestling as if it were having to treat it like if it were real? I don't think it's going to happen. They're going to treat it very tongue-in-cheek. They're going to be the redheaded stepchild of the network. Pun intended, because Raw's colors are red. They're literally going to be the redheaded stepchild of the network. They're going to shoot themselves in the foot. It's the same thing if they were to go over to ESPN. No one is going to take it seriously. Nobody is going to care. Hell, I think maybe within a year, if it does go there, to Fox Broadcasting. And now it's not going to go on FS1. Let's put it that way. It's not going to go on an FS1. They're not going to do a pre-show for it like they do the UFC. They're not going to do a post-show for it. Why? Because WWE tried it themselves. Nobody tuned in and nobody cared. So and they were trying to cut costs for their network. So if they won't air it on their own network, unless Fox is going to throw them more money to do it, I highly doubt that they're going to do it on Fox or FS1. Will this lead to more exposure for Fox and FS, for the WWE? Maybe. Do I think you're going to see an influx of WWE stars showing up on FS1 and showing up on Fox networks? Yeah, they'll give them a cameo in whatever insert drama that they're doing this week, or insert, I haven't watched network television in years, guys, so, hell. Insert cheesy Fox comedy here where, Randy Orton makes an appearance on blah, blah, blah. That may happen. But do I honestly see them catching a break on it? No. Where I think that this deal, the only way that this deal is a good thing, one, they're back on network television. The PG rating fits anyway. Hell, The Simpsons is more out there, and Family Guy is way more out there than what WWE programming is. So if anything, this could mean that Raw could probably push the envelope a little bit more. Will they? No. Why? Linda McMahon, look it up. 2, it cuts them down to 2 hours a night. Why? Well, unless they air the show at 7, which would be a freaking network ratings nightmare, because prime time goes from about 8 to 10, or 8 to 11. Raw will probably air on Monday nights from 8 from 8 o'clock till 10 o'clock. Why? Why cut that third hour? A, Fox is probably not going to pay them that much money for a third hour. Because let's not forget here, and I've been saying it all along, the third hour is not WWE's idea. If it were still WWE doing it and they had their way about it, they would probably go to 2 hours. It's called USA threw them extra money and said, hey, we want a third hour on Monday nights. And what do you expect McMahon to do? Not take the money? And not give them a third hour when he's already broadcasting? When he's already setting up for production that night? Come on, he'd be stupid to tell him no. So that's why Raw's at 3 hours. Let's not forget that. But on Fox, they can't go till 11 o'clock. Why? Because Fox is a network who has a new network affiliates, local network affiliates like where I live. Fox News comes on at 10 o'clock. Your local news comes on at 10 o'clock on most Fox stations. Now, there have been occasions where that changes. Let's not forget here on the opposite side of the coin. Whenever a football game runs over, or a NASCAR race, heaven forbid, runs over, baseball games run over, Fox will preempt their newscasts Are they going to want to do that every Monday night? If the ratings say so, then maybe. What's it going to kill them to preempt the news on Monday nights? But the people bringing you your local news are not the same people who are going to be bringing you Raw, because one's local, one's global. So Fox will have to pay those people to stay that extra hour on Monday night instead of saying, because generally how it works is, at least in my area, once 10 o'clock hits, the station is locally broadcast. There is nothing nationally broadcast after 10 o'clock on a Fox station usually, on a Fox local station. Because what happens after 10 o'clock, after that news airs from 10 to 11, the local Fox affiliate will flip on reruns of Seinfeld or The Simpsons or any syndicated thing they could get their hand on. Here locally, it's Mike and Molly or Malcolm, And then once 12 o'clock hits, they'll show the TMZ show. Ugh. And then after they air the TMZ, the Entertainment Tonight, the Access Hollywood, which is still locally syndicated television, they show infomercials all night. Locally syndicated television. They'll show the paid programming. During the day, my Fox affiliate, unless something big happens on Fox News and they break into it, is all local programming. During the day, it's local broadcasts of Judge Judy and Judge Blah and this Blah and Dr. Oz and all this, and this. And then when 7 o'clock hits on a Sunday or whenever Fox decides they're going to broadcast their little shows, like The Simpsons, that's when the network takes over. That's when the people, in New York or LA take over. That's how it works. But I won't say 90, about 80% of the time, my local Fox affiliate is in my Fox, my local Fox affiliate's hands. And to go with that, so is the CW. Or, they have all these other channels that they could go do SmackDown for. But I think SmackDown may be even on Tuesday nights. What does this mean for Fox, however? This means a big deal for Fox. Fox is coming off a huge sale to Disney. Why did they sell to Disney? Why did they Rupert Murdoch sell so much to Disney? Because they need the money. They're not making as much money as they once were. Which means they're having what little bit of assets they did keep, which is the Fox networks, and they kept Fox News and Fox Sports. FX is no longer an option because that's getting sold to Disney. They're going to cut back on original programming, guys. I would not be surprised if The Simpsons got axed off of network TV. Why? Because Disney now owns The Simpsons. A lot of their assets got sold as well. The Simpsons, Family Guy, American Dad, Bob's Burgers. All of that now is owned by Disney, I think. I have to do some more research, but from what all I saw when the Fox-Disney deal originally went down, they own the rights to all that now. So if they can find a company like WWE that will give them original first-run programming for 4 to 5 hours out of the week, as my phone rings in the background, sorry. If I'm Fox and I find a company like WWE that will give me first-round programming, popular programming, I'll get to that in a second, first-run programming, 52 weeks a year, nonstop, no off-season. There is no mid-season finale. There is no season finale, even though WWE tries to claim a season finale every September. They'd be stupid not to take it. Because all Fox has to do is sit in the control booth and flip a switch. Say, here you go. And then Kevin Dunn takes over the Fox network. Unless it's time to go, hey, Fox is saying we got to go to commercial. Fox airs their commercials. They give the controls back to Kevin Dunn. I'm sure there's way more to it than that, but you get my drift. Now, Raw, as far as a ratings juggernaut goes. Was it like it was in the 90s? No. And if Vince McMahon is smart, he will go in and tell them, no, we're not as big as we were in the late 90s. Television as a whole is nowhere near as big as it was in the late 90s. In fact, NFL ratings are down. The Super Bowl was down. It was the least watched Super Bowl, I think they said, since 2010. The Walking Dead, which was like the show for everybody to watch 3-4 years ago, off the mark. It's down. Is it still huge? Yes, but it's down. Wrestling, however, in the last 4 to 5 years, as much as we want to see the ratings go up to an 8.1 again, which is never going to happen unless something drastic changes, wrestling has hovered. Wrestling has kept 2 to 4 million viewers, give or take. They've hovered in that area, in that median, between 2 to 4 million viewers every week for that last 5 or 6 years. Say what you want about it, but they haven't fallen off the mark. They've kept their mark. They've kept the constant stream of viewers. And that's good news for a company like Fox, who has seen The Simpsons tumble downhill, Family Guy tumble downhill. The Cleveland Show, don't even think that airs anymore. American Dad, King of the Hill is gone. Or maybe, actually, King of the Hill may be coming back. Oof. But their shows and their ratings have tumbled. Raws have not all that much. Yes, you'll have a week or two, but again, they stay between that 2 to 4 million mark. Hell, recently they have numbers to look at with Raw 25 in that gauntlet match to show, hey, we can do shit to pop a rating every now and then. So this Fox WWE deal has its positives, has more positives than negatives in my opinion. I don't want to see him stay on USA. I don't want that third hour. I'm sick and tired of looking at Law & Order and Chris Lee Knows Best. Although last night they did the Biggie and Tupac documentary / docudrama / thing, and that was actually a pretty damn good show. I enjoyed it. So, Fox executives being backstage last night, you know, Eric Shanks, Jacob Ullman, Colin Cowheard. Who knows? Who knows? It's looking, I mean, they wouldn't be backstage to sit there and go, hey, you're in LA. No. They're back there for a reason, folks. They're back there for a reason. They want to come to a show. They want to see what it's all about. And if I'm Vince, I'm sitting there going, this is just SmackDown. Wait till we do Raw. Now, if I am Fox Sports, I'm looking out in the arena and seeing all the empty seats for SmackDown going, not many people come to see you. The NFL sells out everywhere. Daytona 500 just sold out. That they did. Speaking of the Daytona 500, they were in Atlanta this past Sunday. Kevin Harvick dominating the Xfinity Series as well as the Monster Energy Cup Series races. Kevin Harvick with the number 4 Jimmy John's Freaky Fast Ford for Stewart Haas Racing coming in P1. The drivers don't want them to repave Atlanta. The fans do. I think they're long overdue for a repave. That track hasn't been paved over in 20 years. It's been sealed and patched. But it has not been particularly kind to weather. The track experiences what's called weeping, where as the rain soaks through the cracks in the racetrack and that concrete and the ground underneath of it retains it, as you go to dry the track, let's say, okay, yeah, the track looks dry now. Cars start running on the track, and the pressure from the rock, or for the pressure from the cars on the track, causes the excess water to seep up through the cracks, and that's called weeping. Therefore, they have to stop the race. Why do they have to stop the race in the rain? To long story short, tires and the speeds of the cars. The tires don't have treads on them. Go just Google online, NASCAR tires. They're slick. They're flat. There's no treads. Now the trucks, they'll put treads on them. They'll go racing in the rain sometimes. Indy cars can race in the rain, but not the top 2 series in NASCAR. It just can't happen. Coming out of it today, the number 4 Monster Energy Series team of Kevin Harvick has been penalized in Atlanta following the race in Atlanta. The number 4, this comes courtesy of NASCAR.com. This number 4 Stewart-Haas Racing Ford, the Monster Energy Cup Series, driven by Kevin Harvick, who was the race winner, received a safety violation for one unsecured lug nut in post-race inspection. Crew chief Rodney Childers was fined $10,000. The number 42 of Chip Ganassi Racing Chevrolet and the number 52 Means Motorsports Chevrolet in the NASCAR Xfinity Series, driven by John Hunter Nemechek and David Starr, respectively, also received safety violations for having one secured lug nut in a post-race inspection. The crew chiefs Mike Shiplet for the 42 and Tim Brown for the 52 were both each fined $5,000. The number 4 Kyle Busch Motorsports Toyota, driven by Kyle Busch in the NASCAR Camping World Truck Series, also received a safety violation for an improperly installed wheel, which was lost. It was the left rear tire. Busch lost that left rear tire on the track after exiting the team's pit box. Crew chief Marcus Richmond, the rear tire changer Coleman Dollarhide, and Jackman Ernie Pierce received a 3-race suspension in the Truck Series for the violation. Those will not carry over into any of the other series. They will just be exclusive to the Truck Series. This goes on to say Dollarhide and Pierce both pit for Stewart-Haas Racing in the Monster Energy Series, but their eligibility in that series is, of course, not affected. Dollarhide was listed as rear changer for number 41 Stewart-Haas Racing team of Kurt Busch last week, with Pierce serving as the jackman for the number 14 of Clint Bowyer. Let's talk a little bit more about Atlanta. Pit stops and air guns. There was a little bit of a controversy this week at Atlanta as Martin Truex Jr. and even Kevin Harvick both experiencing trouble in the pits after air guns jammed up or stopped working. The air gun, of course, is going at less that they're using this year is going at less RPMs per second than the previous one. Also, going along with that, the change from 6 people over the pit wall to service the car to 5 has affected the pit stops greatly in Atlanta, causing them to be slower. NASCAR is doing this as a way to slow things down on pit road. They want to be more safe on pit road. A 6th man is still allowed over the wall because you have your 2 tire changers, 1 tire carrier, the fuel man, and the jack man. And the fuel man can't do anything but fuel the car. He can't have a wrench in his hand. He can't do nothing but fuel the car, and he's allowed to guide 1 tire back to his pit with his leg. And if you go watch the pit stop from NASCAR from this past weekend, you saw a lot of that. The 6th man over the wall can service the driver, give him a drink, wipe his visor, give him an aspirin if he needs it, which I don't think Denny Hamlin is going to be doing that anytime soon. But also they can tear the tearaways off the windshield to make the windshield clean. As far as fantasy goes in NASCAR, I do play NASCAR's fantasy game over at NASCAR.com. They call it NASCAR Fantasy Live. I'm not doing too good. I got 379 points overall, which puts me 19,559 place. It's not too good. I was 14,398 as far as this past week's race goes. Let's look at the overall standings here. First is the 4RG Tango with 515 points. I have 379 points. I'm not that far off the mark here. There is a tie for 4th place here with Smokin' Habaneros and DC Motorsport, each having 499 points. This just shows you how stupid NASCAR fans can be. There is a group on here called Jackie Chan fans. I don't think Jackie Chan has I don't think Jackie Chan has viewed a NASCAR race in his life, but okay. My starters for this week, I think this week for Vegas, this week for Vegas, I think, is going to be the week that Martin Truex Jr. starts to shine through. He was the winner in 2017. I have him in my fantasy lineup. I also got Ryan Blaney, Joey Logano, Kyle Larson, and Chase Elliott. And Kyle Busch is my garage driver. That's probably going to change, though, as they practice and all that. I have Martin Truex Jr. taking the pole. That'll probably change, too, after practice. But if you're not playing this NASCAR fantasy game, go ahead and play it. It's free to play. You pick 5 starters. You pick one person in the garage that you can swap in and out throughout the race up until the end of stage 2. You pick your pole winner. You pick your stage winners, your race winner, and your manufacturer winner, and they get points for that. So I suggest going ahead and trying this out and playing it. It's really fun to sit here and watch throughout the race where different teams and drivers are linking up. Let's get into some movie news here. Harry Potter, this comes courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is coming to Broadway, and they unveiled their theater marquee, which shows a giant wing extending. It's a 150-foot wing stretching over West 43rd Street. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child is coming to the U.S. Of course, this is the 6th or 7th installment. If you want to count the Beetle the Bard, this is the 8th installment. Or Fantastic Beasts, whatever, the spin-off books, whatever. This is, if you're following in the main canon, this is the 8th installment. This is comes courtesy of the Hollywood Reporter. It says basically what happens is the Harry Potter and the Cursed Child. It was written by J.K. Rowling as a Broadway play. The script for it was released as a book, which was universally panned by people. And now the play is coming to America. Will this be the one that takes Hamilton off the top? Will Harry Potter take Hamilton out of its place on Broadway? It says 150-foot wing stretching over West 43rd Street beckons Potterheads to what promises to be one of the commercial heavyweights of the spring season, and a bold visual gesture that announces the arrival of a potential new commercial behemoth on Broadway, while at the same time reclaiming a new landmark New York theater district facade. Harry Potter and the Cursed Child has literally taken wing. Producers Sonia Feldman and Colin Cowherd have unveiled the elaborate marquee at the newly restored Lyric Theater, where the 2-part continuation of J.K. Rowling's massively popular Wizarding saga begins its previews on March 16th. The creation of the production set designer Christine Jones and international scenic supervisor Brett J. Banks. The 3-dimensional signage is dominated by a 150-foot, 50,000-pound wing that spans from the Lyric marquee up the side of the theater. Perched on top of the building is a sculptural representation of the play's logo, which is a wing nest holding a small child. This is based on an original story by Rowling, playwright Jack Thorne, and director John Tiffany. The plays pick up on Harry's on the adult Harry as an overworked Ministry of Magic employee, as a husband to Ginny and father of 3 school-age children, when his youngest son Albus begins to struggle with an unwanted legacy. As Harry fights to escape the lingering past, darkness once again descends on the family. The production premiered to across-the-board raves at the Palace Theatre in London's West End in July 2016, has been playing to sell-out audiences ever since with no signs of slowing down, It won a record 9 Oliver Awards in 2017, including Best New Play, Director, Lead Actor, and Supporting Actor and Actress. The Broadway transfer officially opens April 22nd at the Lyric, with several of the original London cast reprising their roles, including Jamie Parker as Harry, Noma Dumswale as Hermione Granger. Yes, Hermione Granger is African American in this one. Get over it. Paul Thornley as Ron Weasley, Poppy Miller as Ginny, Sam Clement as Albus, Alex Pierce as Draco Malfoy, and Anthony Boyle as his son Scorpius. Oof. This is going to be a monster on Broadway. It really is. And the book, here's the thing. I don't think it's going to be... Is it going to be well received? Yes, but it's going to be the kids and everybody like me who grew up on Harry Potter. Well, I didn't grow up on Harry Potter. I grew up on the movies. I'll put it to you this way. Because by 2001, when the first movie was made, I was freaking, let's see, 2001. I was 16. So I didn't get into the whole Potter craze. But I did like the movies. I have read excerpts of the script for this play, and I don't like the direction it's going. It's very SJWPC. It's there because, as soon as people found out Dumbledore was gay, I guess J.K. Rowling decided that she needed to jump on the bandwagon, the Hollywood bandwagon that's going around. It didn't suit with me. I don't care. There's a fake, what they call gay baiting relationship between Harry and Draco's son in this. It's very gay baitish. It does not translate well into me. I think it's going to get slammed. I think, the play itself is going to be fine. It's going to be well acted. It's a good play script. But when you put it in book form and try to get it out there for the kids and for everybody who had grown up with these characters, they didn't like it. It wasn't well received. Let's get on to Groot. Baby Groot is actually Groot's large adult son. So a lot of people are talking about Baby Groot, and this comes from Collider. There's rules. Not every film has to abide by these rules, but they're a friend of mine who I follow on Twitter. Her name is Allie Slate. She does a YouTube channel called Glitter Geek TV. Was talking about James Gunn, or talking to James Gunn on Twitter. And James Gunn answered a question. So I'm sure she's geeking out that the director of Guardians of the Galaxy has answered a Twitter question of hers. I would be too. She asks, but you can grow Groot back as evidenced in your film. Once you kill a porg, it's gone. I guess they were talking about porgs in Star Wars and let it go. You're never going to see porgs again. If you do, it would shock me. James Gunn writes back, quote, first Groot is dead. Baby Groot is his son, which it makes sense because it's a seed. Duh. So there you have it. Baby Groot is actually the son of the first Groot. That means when Groot returns in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, or even Infinity War, we're seeing the first Groot's son. And it says, that means when Groot returns in Guardians of the Galaxy 3, which will feature either adolescent Groot or older, we may see a different personality to the character. That's kind of exciting, and this revelation gives more weight to Groot's death at the first movie. Of course, there was an after-credits scene where he became teenage Groot, so I think you're going to see teenage Groot in Infinity War as well. They even show Groot, teenage Groot, in the Infinity War trailers. What do I think about this? Good for Allie for getting a response back from James Gunn. But duh. I never doubted it for a second. I'll be honest with you. It's just, it's just canon, guys. I mean, it makes sense. When go back and learn basic plant biology, herbology. You know, when Baby Groot died or blew up, or when the first Groot died and blew up, his seed fell into a flower pot. You know, we're talking about a talking tree here on the show. So, anyway. Let's also take a look here at, oh God, I'm sitting there reading Allie's Twitter, and Allie is sitting there going, taunting all this. That's what she should. That's good for her. That's good for her. Fellow Virginia girl, or fellow, Virginia native. I like that. The Wreck-It Ralph 2 trailer premiered today. I watched it, and I got to tell you, I laughed at certain parts, but then Bob Chipman, Movie Bob on Twitter, goes, so this is basically the Emoji Movie Part 2. And I have to agree. It's pretty much that, except in meme form. They might as well call this the meme movie. I like the trailer. It's a good trailer, but the premise of the movie is the old school owner of the arcade, who is modeled after Walter Day in real life, brings a Wi-Fi router into the arcade and takes the arcade online. Thus, Ralph and Penelope von Schweetz goes in and tackles the internet and breaks the internet. I'm not a huge fan of the concept because it takes it out of the video game realm. To me, Wreck-It Ralph is a video game movie. You can say what you want, but its premise is video games. These characters come from old school 1980s video games. So it's deviating too much from its original plot point, which made me fall in love with these characters to begin with. In that, they are, they're venturing out of video games and into the internet. And I know what people are going to say, well, MMOs and Fortnite and everything like that. And that's all well and good. The online gaming is all well and good. But when you take it into... And it would be better if they went and visited World of Warcraft and stuff like that. And I expect to maybe see elements of that. But throughout this trailer, they're encountering memes. And they're encountering people that go, hey, if you send this to 500 people, you'll earn $10,000. Or, hey, you just won this. Like different internet pop-ups. That takes it a little bit more outside the realm than what I want it to go. So I'll probably watch it because my kid will want to watch it, but I'm not expecting to like it. That's just the premises I get out of this. Let's see here. The Rock. Collider did a piece. Dave Trumbore did a piece today on Collider ranking The Rock's films. Let's go over these, shall we? Because I know we have a lot of Dwayne Johnson fans out there. Even though I think that he's not a megastar. He's nowhere near Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis or he's not a top billed star in Hollywood. I mean, he's doing fucking Rampage. Let's not forget, Rampage is a movie that he himself got off the ground. Jumanji did okay. I mean, it did better than okay. But you had Jack Black and all these other characters behind him. And it was a good concept. It was, you put Jumanji out there. That's why, let's look at the movie that he did before that. And, of course, it had Kevin Hart. Everybody's going to go flock to see Kevin Hart, except for me, because I think he's a bad actor. But anyway, let's look at the movie he did last year, Baywatch. Horrible. Horrible. It flopped. San Andreas, to me, was horrible. He keeps doing these movies that, by my standards, are C grade movies, or not. I mean, they're not B movies, but they're. How should I put this? They'd be better off served as going direct to video. Some of them. It's just he's not as big of a Hollywood blockbuster. I mean, and you'll see that going through these. That everybody thinks he is. Now, I think once Black Adam kicks in and he starts playing Black Adam, that's when we're really going to see him take off. It doesn't work that way for Batista, but The Rock has a little bit more Hollywood lineage under his belt. And honestly, I can't figure out for the life of me why it hasn't worked for Batista, because Batista's damn good in the Guardians movies. Batista's shown that he can be a really good actor. But anyway. Number 31. Apparently he's done 31 movies. I didn't even know he had done that many. They're ranked worst to first. So let's get this out of the way. Long Shot. Didn't see it. Apparently this is the production company tried to do it, it seems, and Johnson probably wishes they succeeded because internet. We have his first legit big screen role. Long Shot is a real enigma of a movie. How did this get made? How did they all land musically talented cameos? Oh, man. So Long Shot. Didn't see it. He and this apparently came out in 2001. Number 30 is Southland Tales, which was it's basically a follow-up of Donnie Darko, and Donnie Darko is a cult classic. Southland Tales was not well received. Donnie Darko is a well-received cult classic. This says Southland Tales is what happens when a studio doesn't understand the previous film's appeal and opts to give the filmmaker carte blanche in a misguided attempt to tap into their artistic genius. The problem here is that no one, presumably, ever told Kelly that this rambling 2.5-hour mess of a plot was both incomprehensible and nonsensical in its oh man, that's horrible. Number 29 was the one that everybody really kicked off. Was it's the one that he left WWE for, and that was The Mummy Returns. He has one line in the whole movie and then shows up digitally in the end. This is something that would happen. We still haven't learned from shit like this in movies. This is something that would happen today, where you would have a big character show up digitally. Look at Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse. Look at Steppenwolf in Justice League. We're still doing this shit to ourselves in Hollywood 17 years later. Number 28 on this list is the 2010 movie Tooth Fairy, where he plays a hockey player that gets turned into the Tooth Fairy. 27 is Empire State. Again, it's a straight to DVD. It's a heist movie. Apparently this article says it's a failure. Number 26 was 2009's Race to Witch Mountain. Again, another failure by Disney. I like the original Race to Witch Mountain. And I like the concept of Race to Witch Mountain. I like the two kids who played in the 2009 Race to Witch Mountain. But the plot and the way they totally... It's fine when they air it on the Disney Channel. If it was a made-for-Disney Channel movie, this would work. But not as a Hollywood blockbuster where people hold... that's the pedestal that people hold The Rock up to. Possibly the biggest failure on this list was for Dwayne Johnson was Doom back in 2005. It's a video game movie. It sucked. It didn't keep any of the premise of the original video game. Of course it can't. Planet 51 comes in on the number 24 spot when 29 and I can't speak as my mouth falls down the stairs. It came out in 2009. It's an animated little kiddie movie that I didn't understand. I did not understand it at all. I tried to sit through 5 minutes of it and I was like, it's your typical kids alien movie. Come on. Number 23 was one that he did in 2005, Be Cool. It was directed by F. Gary Gray, who directed Friday. It takes 10 minutes for Johnson to show up at all, and when he does, it's as a gay bodyguard whose only thing is to raise a single eyebrow. The fact that he works for Vince Vaughn's awful character and gets taken down early on by John Travolta's over-the-top protagonist is almost too much to bear if you're a fan of Johnson. I remember WWE touted this so much. He's showing up in Be Cool, which was like the sequel to Get Shorty. Number 22 is G.I. Joe Retaliation, which came out in 2013, which is basically him playing his Fast and the Furious character with the G.I. Joes. I love The Rise of Cobra very much, but in Retaliation, spoiler alert, they kill off the main one of the main characters and bring Johnson in to take his place. It was horrible. It was horrible. There hasn't been a G.I. Joe movie since. Why? Because of this damn thing. All Johnson does is walk around, flex his muscle, and shoots guns. Come on. 21 was The Scorpion King in 2002, and I'll be honest, I like The Scorpion King. I loved The Scorpion King when it first came out. I love Kelly Hu's character. The great Michael Clark Duncan's in it. Bernard Hill, who was the captain from Titanic, was in this. And I like this movie. The problem is, it's not good. It's better nowadays looking back at it. You know, here we are, 2002. It is when this came out. It's best suited as a direct-to-DVD deal. As the rest of the Scorpion King franchise would show you. It's all direct-to-DVD now. 2007's Game Plan comes in at number 20, and I think this should have been ranked higher on the list because of the fact that I love this movie. The little girl completely steals the show. I believe her name is Madison Pettis. Kara Sedgwick shows up in the movie as well. The Rock is upstaged so much in this movie, but it's still an enjoyable film. The Rock is, the problem with Rock when he tries to do comedy is it's all the same. He comes in with this squeaky high voice and makes fun of people, man. It's just the same shtick over and over and over, Number 19 was Hercules. And the only thing I can remember about this movie is he had to do an insane diet plan. There was 6-month training in isolation, accompanied by an insane diet plan. There was the 2-month shooting schedule, complicated by an injury sustained during a WrestleMania appearance. So the movie was... It did okay. It did okay. It's not I haven't seen it. I just remember the diet that he had to go on through for this movie was crazy, Number 18, Get Smart, which he did with Steve Carell. I'm not a huge Steve Carell fan. I hated this movie. I couldn't stand it because it's Steve Carell doing his usual shtick mixed with The Rock doing his non-funny comedy stuff. Come on. Number 17 was Journey to the Mysterious Island, which was it's a modern reboot, again, nobody asked for it, of Journey to the Center of the Earth. That happened in 2008 with Brendan Fraser. And then they decided to just give it a sequel with The Rock in it in 2012. God, that movie was 2012. Jesus. I'm feeling old here just looking at this. Number 16 was Faster, which was another attempt for him to be an action star. I watched it. I didn't like it. I got to be honest with you. It's the same crap with The Rock. They're trying to make him Arnold Schwarzenegger or Bruce Willis, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. And then he did Snitch in 2013. His son, this one I watched as well, and I like the concept. The problem is that this is another one of those direct to DVD, should have been a direct to DVD gimmick. It was horrible. I hate it. They had Barry Pepper, I think, was in this, who played Dale Earnhardt in that 3 movie that ESPN did a while back. Barry Pepper was actually good in this. Everybody but Johnson, it's the same. I'll put it to you this way, and I guess this is the point I'm trying to get at, is Dwayne Johnson's range as an actor is horrible. His range is horrible. And even when they try to put him in slots where he would best, be fit like an action movie, he tries to do more, and it just doesn't work. It just doesn't work. He tries to be more than what the plot calls for and what the part calls for. Get in there, be a muscle meathead, beat shit up. That's what they want you to do. The problem is that it comes off as you trying to be a clone of a big time action star like The Rock, like Arnold or Bruce Willis or Sylvester Stallone or anybody like that. You're trying. I mean, even when he was doing the rundown and people are gagaing about that scene where Arnold is like, "Good luck," and everybody saw that as passing the torch. It didn't work. Why? Because The Rock to me. He's had a few hits out there like Jumanji and the Fast and Furious movies, which you could take him out of that and replace him with, Bradley Cooper, and it would still come out the same way. 14 on this list is Baywatch. Horrible. I love Baywatch, the TV show. But this was horrible. Badly acted. Zac Efron. Oh. Number 13 was The Rundown, which to me, Sean William Scott, Rosario Dawson, Christopher Walken even gets thrown in there. They upstaged Dwayne Johnson. You care more about those three characters than you do the main protagonist, the main guy. You just don't. Johnson gets swallowed up in his own movies a lot. Number 12 was Walking Tall. I enjoyed Walking Tall. When you let Dwayne Johnson go out there and beat shit up and actually give him, good writing that is made for him. This script was made around him. And I liked it. I liked it. You had Kevin Durant, Michael Bowen played in this movie. Johnny Knoxville actually steals the show in this, which is crazy for me to think of Johnny Knoxville as a better actor than Dwayne Johnson, but he is. But I enjoy Walking Tall, and for them to place it 12th on the list, it's okay. 11, Gridiron Gang. Again, The Rock going back to his roots in football. You put The Rock, who is a champion at Miami, in a football movie. The puzzle pieces all fit together in this. You had Exhibit in there, playing his partner and an assistant coach. I enjoy Gridiron Gang. Number 10 was Central Intelligence. Again, him and Kevin Hart. They're trying to be this dream team in Hollywood, this comedic dream team. Oh, I'm the jacked up muscular guy. Oh, I'm the short black guy. It works for one movie and one movie alone. And then you bring them back, and it's like you're putting, you're putting the same thing in a different setting. And it just, I saw those two once. I didn't want to see them again. I'm not a fan of Kevin Hart anyway. I don't like his comedy. He's not funny. I just watched Chris Rock's new special on Netflix. That's funny. Dave Chappelle, funny. This guy, not funny. Number 10 was The Other Guys, which he starred alongside Samuel L. Jackson. The problem is the movie isn't about them. It's about Will Ferrell's mild-mannered Alan Gamble and Mark Wahlberg's hot-headed Terry Holtz. So basically, they're idolizing these two cops, and they want to be just like them. It's. I didn't see it. I don't want to see it. I'm not a. Will Ferrell takes it away for me. I hate Will Ferrell. Can't stand Will Ferrell. Number 8 was San Andreas. Oh, a bunch of shit's gonna fall apart. Ooh. Again. Now, I did like Pain and Gain, which is number 7 here. Pain and Gain was good, but again, Mark Wahlberg totally chews up the series. Or the scenery. Anthony Mackie chews up The Rock. The Rock gets upstaged in this. Number 6 is The Fate of the Furious. Again, you give him, they put Fate of the Furious and Fast 5 and Fast of the Furious 6 as numbers 6, 5, and 4, respectively, on this list. It's him playing the same character over and over and over. I'm sick of the Fast and Furious movies at this point. They're coming out with another one. I hate it. Get over it. It's done. Once Paul Walker died, end it. They're giving Hobbs his own movie now. Hobbs and Jason Statham's character. They're getting their own movie. It's going to be horrible. Number 3 was Jumanji. Number 2 was Furious 7. And number 1, which I enjoyed very, very much, because he doesn't have to do any real acting. It's all voice acting, which The Rock can do, was Moana. I love Moana. And they gave The Rock a chance to sing, which is what I think he's been wanting to do for a while. Moana was, it was fantastic. They tried to make the character look like The Rock as best they could. And I think, The Rock is half Samoan, so it fits. It just fits, and it's really good. I like Moana a lot. It's probably one of the best movies that Disney has done since Wreck-It Ralph. Because I'm in the minority of I hate Frozen. I can't stand Frozen. I thought the premise was stupid. The acting was stupid. Idina Menzel is the only saving grace in that movie. And they gave her shitty songs to sing. So I hate Frozen. I like Moana better than I like Frozen. I like Lilo and Stitch better than I like Frozen. So there it is, folks. We've taken you from pillar to post today. Jonathan Coachman. I got to get this off my chest too. Going back to wrestling for a second. Jonathan Coachman sent out a series of tweets related to Roman Reigns and the negative reaction that he gets. He goes, I continue to be amazed at the venom towards Roman Reigns, and yet all fans could say is, I hate him. Not why, not how, not anything. Says, stop being sheep and just enjoy the show. You all read social media like it's the Washington Post. I have to believe you're smarter than that. His promo on Monday was amazing, and I got crushed for reading promo about Lesnar/Reigns face to face. As of this moment, I still don't know why Lesnar wasn't there, why he didn't show up. I was never told, and that is the 100% truth. I used to work with a media coach who said the hardest thing for people to hear is, for a lot of, I'm misreading this here. I used to work with a media coach who said the hardest thing for people to do is hear, not just listen. And if you really hear what he said last night, it was probably the best promo he has ever delivered. It was the best promo that he ever delivered. I liked the promo. It came off as if he actually was breaking kayfabe, kind of. Us in the know his mannerisms and the way he delivered the promo was totally scripted. You could tell he was still reading lines. But to the common fan, it works. To the casual fan, it works. I can tell you, Jonathan Coachman, why I can't stand Roman Reigns. I can tell you why I boo him. I am not a fan of his in-ring work. I am not a fan of his character. I am not a fan of the fact that he still wears the Shield gear in the ring. He never changed up his ring gear. I am not a fan because he is totally manufactured. And I think this is the reason why people boo him. Because he is what WWE has created and is wanting to shove down our throats when you have a guy like Dolph Ziggler who naturally, organically gets over, who can work better than Roman Reigns, who can cut a better promo than Roman Reigns, and he gets trashed and booked like shit. To the point where, Ziggler signs a contract that basically says, yeah, we're going to give you a shit ton of money to be a glorified jobber for the next few years. And of course Ziggler's stupid if he doesn't take it. I always say that. That's my biggest thing with Roman Reigns. He's not organic. He's completely manufactured. He wouldn't be, I'm sorry, but if this, were any other wrestling company, he would be mid-card by now because the fans just can't get behind him organically. I said that about John Cena, too. They're wanting to strap the rocket on someone's back and have them be the next Hulk Hogan. It's not that time anymore. It doesn't work like that anymore. Take a Daniel Bryan, for instance. They didn't strap a rocket to his back and force-fed him down our throats. No, the fans held the shows fucking hostage until they finally acknowledged it. And I've said all along, the best way to give these people, to get it through these people's heads is not to boo him, not to cheer him, but let the crickets chirp when he comes out. Hell, they're muting you anyways. So just don't give it any reaction, or do like they usually, do like they did for Michael Elgin a week or so ago. Like some people did. If you don't want to see the guy for whatever reason, stand up, turn your back on the ring. Or go to the bathroom. Hell, you don't have any problem doing it during the women's segments. You don't have any problem when the women's match comes on going to the bathroom. Why can't you hold it a little bit longer till Roman Reigns comes out? We live in an age where any reaction is a good reaction. So don't give him a reaction at all. He's not organic. He's manufactured. And the people just don't like it. The kids cheer him because he panders to them. The women cheer him because they want to fuck him. Come on, that's just the way it is. At the end of the night, they want to go home with the guy. He has an amazing look about him. Don't get me wrong. And there we go. Oh, man. Joe, you're being sexist. No, I'm just telling the fucking truth. Look at John Cena for probably the last maybe 5 or 6 years. Hell, 10 years. His main fan base are women and children. And you're telling me that all those women like him because he's good in the ring and his in-ring work? No. You walk up to a casual female fan who cheers John Cena, and they're going to be like, I like him because he's cute. Oh. Women loved the Von Erichs back in the day, but the men loved the Von Erichs too. Why? Because they could go in there and actually make you believe that they would kick somebody's ass. And I know what you're going to say. Well, Joe, world class, it was all manufactured. The Von Erichs were just like John Cena. Yeah, you're right. But it's a different time. People are smartened up to the business now. It's a way different time. More people are reading the internet than ever. Anyway, that's just my take on Roman Reigns again for the 300th time. He's not organic. He doesn't come off as organic. And I think, left to his own devices, he'll never be as organic as a Daniel Bryan or a Dolph Ziggler. Hell, Seth Rollins is less manufactured than he is. Roman Reigns is just your standard cookie-cutter WWE babyface. That, Jonathan Coachman, is why I don't like him. Why I don't cheer for him. Why I've said here on this channel for how many years now that I will never cheer for him. Has his work rate gotten better? Yes. But the bloom is off the rose with him. I feel like he'd make a way better heel than he ever would a babyface. Anyway, I'm going to go ahead and get off here for now, folks. Thank you so much for tuning in. I've been about an hour here. And I want to thank you guys so much for listening and watching. And we will see you guys down the road.